It's another ridiculous night as my roundtable joins me, Ben, the ridiculous Riddick, and rants concerning the nerd culture of yesterday and today. Joining me at my roundtable, her second show in a row, I believe in Lacey Dent.
Yeah!
Yay.
You know, I don't have any really...
Yay! Thank you for the enthusiasm, Austin.
Unfortunately, I don't have fun intros for my other two guests at the
I
round
would have
table.
assumed you would have come up with one.
But he's my token Asian,
That's pretty good.
Austin Perna.
What? That was a surprise.
Just kidding. Sam Chen's the token Asian, of course.
That's
Yeah,
actually
no
really
problem.
impressive considering where you live. So I feel like I've just beat out a great amount of the population.
You did.
There's a to choose from.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much walk down the street and they line up and they say, "Hey, I'll be your token Asian." But
That's right.
I picked you, Sam.
Yeah, next time you need me to buy an Apple product for you, I will come and help you.
Oh, good. And Austin down in Austin. Austin Perna. How's it going, guys?
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one.
Austin, this is
doing
your first time on the show, other than the Extra Life stream, right?
That's right. I'm making my first appearance.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Would you say you're ridiculously excited?
No, not
No.
that much. Not that
Okay,
much.
then you're off. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys. It was a good first time.
Hey, at least it's my first appearance not as part of the Reject Club.
Yeah, this is true. Sam's last appearance was on the Lonely Hearts show for Valentine's Day, and yeah.
I was
Where for about 2 hours, Ben wasn't married
Same.
somehow.
Well, I didn't have the relationship I
Right.
have with you now, so
That's true.
it wouldn't have worked out as well. Guys, today I thought it would be great since this last week we got some news on Destiny, and we all play Destiny except for Lacey. Lacey doesn't play Destiny, but that's
Yet.
okay. It's okay.
I don't blame her.
I do.
Well, there you go.
How
I-
How does
could
that make you
you?
feel?
Sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should.
Really sad.
Good.
We'll change it.
Okay. We'll start that later on.
Mhm.
We got some big news. The House of Wolves DLC has gotten a release date, May 19th, the same day
Finally.
as Witcher 3, which, great idea to compete against.
I'll be
one of the
playing
most
Witcher
anticipated games of the year. And it's going to have a new social space in the Reef. It's going to have a new cooperative arena thing called the Arena. Right?
That's
Austin?
that's different
I-
from Prisoner of Elders?
That's a no, I think it's the same thing. I think
I'm
Prisoner
sorry.
of Elders is the general his actual term.
Right. And then there's the new set of stuff called the Trials of Osiris, which I have to say, the armor that you can get from Trials of Osiris looks pretty awesome. Sam, I know you just tried to text me, but my phone's on silent.
No! Fail!
Because, we're recording a show right now.
Hey, I thought it would have been appropriate. We're talking about Destiny. Come on.
Well, you could text me one more time, and then...
Actually, I did not hear a ding. I heard a ding. You didn't have everything.
I guess the
turned
sound on my computer might actually be on. Unless
No, it's okay. It's
What
okay.
was the date?
The moment is lost, Ben.
The moment is lost. You made me lose my train of thought, also.
The armor.
The armor.
Armor.
The armor looks
That's what I'm
really
here
for.
cool.
That's what I'm here for.
The
tonight.
armor looks awesome because it's all based on Egyptian gods. You've got Ra, Horus, and that other one.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
No. Anubis. That's the one I was...
Anubis.
The one
That's
that
the
looks
one
like
I
a
was-
dog, right?
Yeah,
No?
right. And of course, there was some news about what everyone was looking most forward to, a new raid, and that news is that there is none.
It's gonna be cool. Oh wait, no. It's not
Right.
gonna be a
You know
thing.
what? The funniest part about that news was I read the piece, I just skimmed it, and I saw the word raid and did not associate the fact that there was no raid. I was like, okay, raid, cool. And I got on and everyone crushed my dreams.
Which is sad because I was kind of looking forward to a raid in the Reef fighting a bunch of Fallen. Because I have to say, with as glitchy as Atheon is, and as short and not all that exciting as Crota is, it's not really not a whole lot keeping my attention, and I can really tell that Lacey knows exactly what's going on. With
She's a
Yeah.
quick learner.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
ticked off about it too.
yeah, you should
Yeah, it's
be.
a pretty big disappointment. I hate when there's no raid.
Yeah,
Really
no raid.
down. Raids are my favorite.
How do you guys feel about the addition of no raid?
Sam, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's how much do you trust Bungie, right? So like part of their justification was, look, people get through it quick, they figure it out, it becomes boring very quickly. And if, let's create some endgame content that has some variety that'll be continuously playable for a good amount of time. Now, if they actually execute on that, then that could be really awesome because, we don't run Crota anymore. We don't really run Vault anymore. But then again, we've seen them fuck up on a number of things. So, I'm optimistic, but I want to be realistic too. So,
Do you think that the Prison of Elders, or let me hear what Austin has to say. How do you feel about no raid, Austin?
I'll try to keep it short, but I was talking with you the other day, and back when it was first data mined that there was going to be a thing called the Arena, I feel like I kind of had a feeling that there was going to be a almost horde kind of type game setting, end of game kind of thing to take place of a raid. Like I know it sounds dumb now, like, oh, now I'm just saying, that's what I thought, but I really did think, oh, it makes sense with these past two raids, especially like Sam said, Crota. It was kind of disappointing, as you said, disappointing. It makes sense that they're going to kind of go back to a drawing board, and for any future, like for the future DLC past House of Wolves, if they have more time to work on a fully fleshed, actually feel special kind of raid. Because after Vault of Glass, Crota's End just seemed not as exciting and very short, and then the hard mode of it was not really well thought out. I thought it was just kind of tacked on higher level enemies, and that was it. Like, it wasn't anything special, and I think maybe if they want to do another raid, which everyone agrees is the best part of Destiny, they want to have a much better experience, and so this is kind of like a stopgap kind of thing.
Right. So you think they're just kind of... Do you think them postponing the raid to a later date is actually meaning that they're working on it more? Or do you think that they're just polishing it up and hoping that that giving us a few months without a raid and just the arena will be enough to satisfy us and keep us playing until whatever next stuff they have coming out with their Comet?
Well, that's interesting because, like, as Destiny is, it's like an always evolving game, and they constantly have to get feedback. So best case scenario for them, yeah, they have this comes out and people love it, and then they can like dust their hands off and be like, hey, that's perfect. We didn't even need a raid, and even though everyone's complaining that there's no raid, and they enjoyed this, and now we have more months to work on an even better raid, and then we'll come back and people won't be tired with it. Worst case scenario, that this comes out, people are bored with it after a couple runs through, and then they're like, well, we'll come out with a raid as soon as we can, kind of thing, but we'll charge you $15 for it or something. Like,
so you think they're going to end up charging us for the raid? It's not going to be part of that first season pass, expansion pass that we got?
That's my guess. I don't think this is going to be. I don't think a future raid will be part of House of Wolves. I think it'll be in the mentioned many times over Comet expansion. It'll just be like a brand new thing.
So it's interesting because I was talking with one of my coworkers who plays Destiny with us, and we were talking about season passes in general and saying, like, there's a good chance that if House of Wolves falls incredibly flat, like just really bad, people are really upset with it once it launches, it doesn't meet expectations, that maybe they'll throw us a bone. Because, we've seen that happen with a couple other games this year that just, I mean, like Assassin's Creed, you bought the season pass. They said if you were, because we got so much feedback on how bad the game, like not even the mechanics of the game, but we had rendering issues, things like that. We got a free game. I mean, yeah, we paid $30 for the season pass or whatever, but we still ended up getting a free game out of it. And so,
Right.
maybe that's the wave of the future, quote unquote, when it comes to season passes. So I think if House of Wolves is a complete flop, maybe we'll get the raid for free. But otherwise, I'm probably in Austin's boat.
So here's my question, Sam. Or you know what? I'm going to direct this towards you, Lacey. I'm not a game programmer. You know that.
Right.
Do you think, because what they're talking about is putting a raid out 3 months later.
Right.
Okay. Given the amount of work that goes into making a video game, do you think 3 extra months or 4 extra months or however long they postpone this raid is enough time to make something that the community would like more?
I think it would depend on if it was planned or if this is just in response to the feedback that they've gotten that there is no raid. That would be my question. If this is just a response of like, wow, people are really disappointed in this, so we're just going to do something later, then no, it's not enough.
Right.
But I think
From what
also saying if they're just going to like polish it up.
Yeah, but so you assume when they announced the content
Right.
that it was at least mostly done, and when they announced the content it was just polishing. I honestly don't see adding a few extra months being enough time to add or subtract things
No, not
from
to make
the,
a major.
yeah,
Yeah,
a major
not to
difference.
make a major difference and a major change. No.
What do you guys think, Sam?
I mean, I think the mechanics are. I mean, the raid's probably already created from a like how you flow through. The mechanics might change, and I think if you look back to I think it was probably like 2 months ago when we got it wasn't really a leak, but we had one of the designers at Bungie kind of leak and talk about some of the things that were going to change for this patch. Specifically, we weren't going to vendor gear wasn't going to invalidate the last raid's gear. Things like that, right? It kind of you got the feeling that they were thinking about how to approach the game in general with gear and everything like that. So I get the feeling that they actually did take the time to make the decision. Hey, let's not do a raid. Let's try to put enough content in to satisfy the masses, but let's make this next thing good. And I think you've always heard that back and forth with Destiny players of like, I don't like the fact that Bungie is trying to tell me how I should be playing this game. I mean, when we saw Crota patches, a lot of it was, when we saw Atheon patches, it was, you're not playing the game we wanted you to play. So we're going to change it so you have to play it our way. If they can somehow depart from that, I mean, I think there's maybe enough time to change some of those mechanics to make that viable.
All right. So I guess my main issue with there being no raid is that they've announced a bunch of content for 3 players, which is the standard for the story stuff in Destiny, but for the raids, we've had the 6-player maximum. 6 players can go into a raid, or 6 players can go into multiplayer. But it doesn't sound like there's going to be any new 6-player endgame content, because the Prison of Elders is going to be 3-player again. And I mean, just us in the Nerdy Knights, we usually have more than 3 people on at any given time. How do you guys feel about there not being any new 6-player content? I mean, do you think that Prison of Elders will be good enough to justify there being only 3 players, or are you also going to miss the 6 players? Go ahead, Austin.
I'm sure there are people like you are going to complain. Throughout all of Destiny.
What does that mean, Austin? People like me are going to complain.
People like you're right there. You're complaining. Oh, we have too many people. I'm Ben. No, but there's going to be people who said all through Destiny, the end game thing I've been experiencing with these 5 other people. Now you're making us essentially cut ourselves in half. But I was thinking about this. And what is something that a lot of people have been requesting of the endgame content, and that's matchmaking. I would put good money that in the next coming weeks, we're going to hear that they're cutting it to 3, and they want a more intimate thing, because maybe they're going to test out matchmaking on matchmaking endgame content, which is going to be now on a smaller scale, So it makes sense
Instead
to
of trying to find 6 players
Exactly.
for matchmaking.
Going to match you just with 2 other people like they've been doing with the weeklies now as of a couple weeks ago and all the other strikes and stuff. Maybe they want to test out how this will do, and then depending on that kind of response, then future and maybe even past raids, they can be like, all right, we will extend how many, we'll do the matchmaking for the things like that. And so that's my thinking and why they maybe want to reduce it down to 3, give it more intimate of a feel.
Okay.
Well,
So-
I think the interesting. Well, first of all, I agree with you. Like you know, I love playing video games mainly for the multiplayer aspect. So the fact that I'm not going to have 5 other people playing with me, and it's only going to be 2, is a pretty big disappointment. But to the matchmaking comment, it's interesting because when they turned on matchmaking for the weekly heroic and not for the nightfall, they said specifically, if you fail in the nightfall, we want to give you a chance to go back with your same team and complete the content, right? With the weekly, if you fail, you kind of just respawn. With the nightly, you get kicked to orbit, and then you have to redo the matchmaking process. So I think that'll be an interesting way of looking at how Prison of Elders works within that component. That being said, like there's so much infrastructure around Destiny that's supported by the community right now with LFG, public events, to the point where like Bloodborne's trying to replicate some of that stuff in their own community. I don't know why it's a big deal. Like, do people really have a hard time getting on LFG? Like, I feel like Bungie could create methods that helped you with the matchmaking process without necessarily invalidating the idea that if I want to play with 5 of my friends, I can.
Right. Imagine if instead of matchmaking, they put an LFG app into Destiny.
Exactly.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Lacey, you play a lot of League of Legends. How many players at a time can play League of Legends?
Well,
A lot. Right?
yeah. I mean like there's 2
On one team,
teams,
how many?
So you've got 5 of you.
Okay.
5 is 5.
Okay. Now imagine, let's say you pre-purchased a season pass for League of Legends that
Alright.
says, you're gonna get X amount of new content, new characters, whatever. Maybe a new actual arena.
Mhm.
Now let's say that they also say, but for this one you only get 3 players on each team instead of 5 or 6. How would you feel about that? I'm guessing do you have a group that you
Yeah.
usually play with?
Yeah.
So how many people are in the group that you usually play with?
Well, it depends on how many. There's about 7 of us, and we usually play because some are a little bit more advanced, some are maybe not as advanced.
Okay.
So we usually will branch into 2
Mm-hmm.
different. But that would be frustrating for me because I like having a combination of people that I know that I'm playing with, and then also that are just filtered in through matchmaking. I would assume similar
Right.
process. So for me, that would be that would be frustrating.
I mean, a game that they build on, trying to have this big community MMO aspect to it, it kind of seems ridiculous. That they're not going to take it out. And if Prison of Elders is a horde mode kind of thing, why on earth couldn't we do 6 players?
Well, I was just going to say, logistically, if they had 6 people, like if it is what it is, just like a horde mode, just wave after wave of enemies, imagine just how many enemies they would have to throw at a group of 6 people who are probably all standing back to back. And like I'm just thinking maybe they don't want to just have to make it throw so many enemies at 6 people working together. Like when it's
but
3.
how many freaking thrall and shit comes out at the end of the first part of Crota, where you're trying to build
you have to go
bridge?
from A to B. If it's like a horde mode where you can really just stand your ground and just pick off people, if you imagine like 6 people just standing in the center.
Also, we have stood at a lamp before, and I feel like there are hundreds and hundreds of thralls surrounding us. You
I don't
can't
know.
tell me that the PS4 and the Xbox One and don't have the resources to
Oh,
make.
I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying they don't. Maybe, again, I'm assuming maybe they just don't want to have the challenge be here's thousands of enemies coming at you, now stand your ground and get it. Maybe they want it lesser, 3 people, you can't cover all angles at once kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so here's my next question. Sam, how long do you think this new content is going to keep you interested in Destiny?
Man, you know what? I honestly, what I'm hoping for is it's at least a month, hope maybe 2. But the thing is, I'm looking at this and thinking, one of the biggest problems that's always been with the raids and the end game content is once you level to the max or to what the raid gear drops to, it's not that difficult anymore. Like there's no the scaling's kind of gone. The difficulties, it's still kind of there, but it's more of a punishment for you to have lower level players on your team than it is, an equal challenge. So I think that to me is the real question here with like a horde mode thing. It's once I get to level 34 or whatever level that they're going to raise the cap to, is it going to be easy for me, or is it going to be easy once I have 2 34s? And if it goes that way, then I'm going to stop caring the second I get all my characters up there. And I think that's one thing you saw with Crota is they made the drop system more friendly, but they also that meant the raid became obsolete quicker. So that should have the same effect with Prison of Elders.
What if they made it to where like the maximum level that you could, let's say it's a horde mode, the maximum level that you play is always 2 levels higher than the level cap? Would that make it more interesting to you?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, you have the same problem in the raid now, where you've got an artificial level cap or artificial level that exceeds the level cap, and people got very frustrated because, again, the way level cap scaling works in Destiny, the character or the level before takes such a huge hit that now it becomes okay. So we can only play with my friends who are level 34. I mean, I think you remember when we were first doing Atheon, just how frustrated I was that I wasn't getting gear, not because, I felt like I should be getting more drops, but because if all of my friends outlevel me, then I can't play with them.
Right.
So, I think that's my same concern, and I'm not sure that would address that.
Would you prefer if they did outlevel you, but you could still play, and you would just be significantly outleveled?
I mean, I guess. I mean, but the way it's worked so far in Destiny is the level at which you can enter the raid is 3 levels below kind of that cap, the level cap. At 3 levels, you're doing like less than half the damage that you're.
Right. Yeah, it's significant.
You're just useless. So I mean, I guess in one sense, maybe like it'd be interesting to see them add a game mechanic that wasn't damage oriented, and then maybe that's how I contribute to the team once I'm in it. But again, I haven't played enough games with a horde mode, but that just doesn't feel like something that they do a lot of. I could be wrong.
How about you, Austin? How long do you think this content will keep you playing Destiny?
Well, let's see. If I look back at this past one, what was the official name of it? I don't even remember.
The Dark Below.
Dark Below, that's what it is. I'm still trying to get one of my characters up to that 4th level of the Eris, just so that I can start exchanging shards or energy for shards, so I can get my other 2 characters up to 32, because they're like just on the cusp. So like technically I'm still playing it, although if I put as much time as I did when I first started playing Destiny, I probably would have already done that by now. So maybe I'm of the mindset of, if I was able to, I would love to just play the extra content that's about to come out in House of Wolves just at a much slower pace, so that it does actually last me a whole lot longer. Because I'm looking at like my other games that I want to play, and aside from like me playing like backlog games, which I'll be doing till I die essentially, I don't have anything else that I'm like massively playing on the PS4, except for every once in a while Destiny and like GTA.
God, that game's terrible.
You have a big problem with it. That was fun to watch and listen to.
God damn it.
But I mean, I'm not going to be playing Witcher, so I don't care that I'm like spending time away from. Witcher's too big. It scares me. It's intimidating. But like until like Batman Arkham Knight comes out, I'm not going to be playing a huge game on the PS4. So if I can just kind of like play my old games, and then every once in a while I'll pop into Destiny and extend how long this little bit is going to last, then I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, so what some of the things that have been kind of not suggested, but like that people have thought of were, what if they released new content for Prison of Elders like every week? So it was like a different dungeon or kind of like a mini strike but less developed, to get me playing every week to earn certain rewards. I think that could work, because I think in the long run for Destiny, and I think Bungie's probably figured this out by now, is you're never going to get someone addicted to the extent of playing the way we did when we first started the game. They're just untenable. Like, first of all, hopefully gamers have lives outside of gaming.
I know.
If for no other reason than to play other games. But if Bungie creates content that gets me playing 6 hours a week, so basically a couple nights a week, and they can persist that until the next patch comes out, I think that's a huge win for them. And maybe that's their approach. I don't know.
Okay. Well, so my final question, Destiny related, before we just kind of talk about season passes, because I have a lot to say about season passes. What would you say? Pick 3 things. What do you want added to Destiny in House of Wolves? All right, I know I'm putting you guys on the spot, so I'll go first to kind of tell you my 3 things. Number 1.
I'm gonna take the good ones.
No.
Okay, I'll say one of them.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I need time to think.
Number 1, a third subclass. I think there are three classes in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You have a warlock, hunter, and a titan, and they each have 2 different subclasses, which kind of changes how you play the character.
Okay.
But there's a box for a third one, but it's just empty.
Oh, that's infuriating.
Right? So you have to believe that there's a third subclass coming at some point, and I mean there have been rumors as to what the third subclass will be, and I'll tell you what, the hunter trapper one just sounds really awesome. But that's wishlist item number 1. Wishlist item number 2. Custom games for multiplayer. I don't understand why Destiny doesn't have it already. I mean, Bungie created Halo, and one of the biggest things about Halo was being able to go in, create your own game types and games, and play with a bunch of your friends. I mean, that would change the game completely if we could have, instead of 6 people in a fire team, have 12 people in a fire team and go play this custom random game that we created. Did you ever play Halo?
Mm-hmm. I wonder why they
Didn't
go that route, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to
It's
be someone that had a...
all matchmaking, and that's it.
That's it. That's your only...
That is your only option if you want to play PvP.
So they did not want you to have that...
No.
Create that element of control. Interesting.
I mean, there are different PvP game types.
Well, yeah, but even that, I mean, you're missing things like, why isn't there a capture the flag? Why isn't there a King of the Hill? Why isn't there an oddball or something like that? I mean, holy shit! Assassin's Creed multiplayer has these game types. Why doesn't Destiny? And for capture the flag, which is the 3rd item on my wish list, by the way, they already have the resources developed for these goddamn flags and guardians carrying these flags. When you load into any game and you're playing with a team, it loads you in, and the highest level person grabs a flag and stabs it into the ground.
Oh.
But there are no flag-based games. Not a one.
That's very frustrating. Maybe I don't want to start playing this game.
I really enjoy the game. But Sam, what are your 3?
Was that
Three
2 or
wish list
3?
items.
That was 2, right, Ben?
I
You said 3.
Flag was my third one.
Yeah.
Oh, capture the flag. So I think, without repeating any of the ones you said, I think I'll try to keep it more high level. I think one is the introduction of any sort of game mode that requires like just kind of a different kind of skill set than how much damage can I put on something. I don't know what that looks like, to be completely honest. I don't know if it's more robust platforming or something that's more, I don't know.
I could see what you're saying. Like maybe have almost like a kind of like a side-scrolling kind of thing where you're running forward, but you have to be creative with how you move forward. And I mean, the way I see something like that working is each class could definitely bring something different. I mean, your Titan has the Defender class. I mean, if you're worried about avoiding damage, your Titan pops a bubble so that you can avoid the damage for whatever amount of time you need to avoid it. Or like the Hunter, you can essentially go invisible and run all the way, across a level. I could see something like that being really entertaining, where you're trying to use the actual abilities of your characters as opposed to, like you said, just trying to put damage on things.
Yeah, I mean almost
like any MMO, it's you get a bunch of different people so that they have different skill sets, and Destiny kind of misses out on that. We could all three play as the same character and not miss anything.
Yeah, and so I think that's the second side. Is like I don't know how this would execute either, but it also feels like when you go through a system, especially now that we mainly play like a Nightfall, like a weekly strike every week, and there's a certain set of skulls or modifiers on it, right? I would love to see it where there isn't like a best or like a set of weapons you have to use or a set of triggers that you have to use in order to be successful. Like, not to say I want it to be like everyone should be able to do whatever they want, but think about like the Crota raid where you're at the end and like everyone has a rocket launcher. So everyone has a rocket launcher, one person has a sniper rifle, and one person runs around with a sword. Like, to me, there's no challenge to that. Like, I want something that I have to figure out by using different weapons or using a different like layout. There's no
something where there's actually more ways of tackling the same problem that are equally effective.
Yeah. And I think the last thing is I would want something that I feel like the new events like Iron Banner and which is really the only limited time event we have now. I'd like to see one that's more PvE oriented. Because Iron Banner is just
kind of like the Queen's Wrath, that like third week the game was out.
Yeah, like I wasn't really sure what failed about that, other than the rewards system.
Yeah,
but it's
it's like change it to how Iron Banner changed it. Make it like level 33.
Yeah, like it could have been interesting to just have like and I don't know if this is what they intend for Trials of Osiris, but it could be cool to have content where like going through the content gives you some form of currency to buy stuff. And it's not like it takes a lot, but it's something where you get something new every time you go through, but it doesn't break the game for anyone.
I got you. Do you remember in Halo how you could find in the like stories you could find these skulls? Did you ever do that? No. Well, like
no, at least that's not that immediately pops into my brain though.
Well, like these skulls gave you like modifiers that you could play in single player, like the Grunt birthday party one, where if you activated that skull and you shot a grunt in the head, confetti popped out and kids went, "Yay!" I would kind of like those skulls to pop up in the Destiny world so that you can maybe select a strike, any strike, doesn't matter which, and activate these skulls.
Yeah.
Like we get for the Nightfall. Like, how fun would it be to be able to just like flip on do a custom strike and just turn all of the modifiers on?
Just everything.
You just took one of my things.
Okay, that's one of Austin's though.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing before I take all of Austin's, but I would also like to see more of their like those seasonal things. So remember when like Halloween came out the first time? We got, like, the jack-o'-lantern, and then we got like some other thing that I never got, but it was cool.
Special sparrows.
Yeah, well, and then like I remember like Christmas time, people were like, "Oh, you know what would be cool if all of the ammo looked like little presents." You know, like I feel like a little bit of these like flare elements would be kind of fun too.
Do they have
See,
any
I've-
elements like that currently?
So
Within Destiny?
it was just Halloween that they
Okay.
had something like that, and it was this little like buff that you could pick up, and when you activated it, it put like a pumpkin over your head, and whenever you shot certain enemies in the head, there was this like blood curling scream.
I feel like I know one of Austin's now, only because
do
it's
you?
very very obvious and no one said it yet.
I'm gonna go different, I think.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So
All right.
tell me your wishes.
All right, so the first one you've already kind of mentioned. I was going to say adaptable strike playlists. I
Yeah,
feel
like,
like
why can't we go through and play Fogoth whenever we want at level 30?
right. Like I feel like they're missing something where like the upper echelon of players, like the people who just want a really tough challenge, because you see it out on YouTube and there's like those personalities and they put like restrictions on themselves to have a greater challenge, and that essentially extends the lifetime of the game. They're doing different things, it gets people exciting, and then they send it out to the community. Well, why can't we have like put these kind of like restrictions on ourselves, or kind of like you said, give us a bunch of negative effects to us and make juggler flip on and we can't, and then light switch and all these different things, and like get then rewarded, like have a better chance of getting an exotic or something like that, something to boost the difficulty, something that's so hard.
Let's
just
be
for
honest,
those kind of
Austin.
people.
You just want to boost the chances of getting an exotic so you can get a Yallarhorn.
Yep, that's the point. That's the plan.
Join the club.
Yeah. Number 2 is, I know we just got more vault space, but it was kind of pathetic. Like, when I saw that, they were like, oh, we're extending everything and we'll give you 6 more spaces for things. Like, I thought it was kind of like, it just didn't seem like enough. So it's going to be an umbrella thing. I want better item storage. I want better options of sorting items, my weapons. I want it to just be a lot easier so I don't have to use, like you've said, you've been beta testing or alpha testing some app, and I'm lazy, so I haven't downloaded that, and I haven't looked at anything like it or an extension off of Firefox or Chrome or whatever.
Well,
But
the cool thing about the app that I'm using right now is that it does what you're saying. It splits everything into groups, and not just. It doesn't just split armor, weapons, miscellaneous. It does. Here, I'm gonna.
you get up in there.
I'm gonna put this up in here. It does primaries, specials, heavy, and then it goes into armor and it splits them up into each thing, and it goes into like heavy ammo synths and currency things, and then all of my time breakers are right there. And, it splits everything up, and it's like, why is some Joe Schmo on the internet able to work this, but Destiny can't?
Right. I guess then it just goes back to the old, why doesn't Bungie just do this? Why can't they just have this as an option? Because to me, like, even that phone thing that you're showing, it looks very cool, and it's probably way faster than anything I'm end up doing that's official Bungie Destiny stuff, like going into the game and doing that, or the new and improved Destiny app. But like, I just want it in game, just like I wanted the Grimoire to be able to read Grimoire cards in game. I hate having to go to that second screen. I generally don't like doing that kind of thing. So
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
yeah, I want everything there. I want that to be the complete package, and I don't want to have to rely on the community to make something just so that I have a funner and better time.
You know what else I think needs to happen? I think if you have one of those refrigerator ships, you should have a travel vault. What else is
See, I use the refrigerator ships. Maybe one of these days they'll give me that.
I like to be small and nimble.
Yeah.
And number 3, this is probably the best idea. I've had pretty weak ideas, but it's because I'm put on the spot and you guys stole some stuff. But number 3 is going to be with the horde mode thing that's coming in House of Wolves.
Wait. Has it been announced that it's actually a horde mode thing?
I
That's
think
just speculation, right?
I think that okay. I think it's the general consensus. It could not very well be that, but I think everyone thinks that's what it is. So that's just what I'm going off of.
And the internet's always right, so.
Exactly.
Especially Reddit.
Exactly.
But okay, so assuming it is going to be some kind of horde mode, or even if it's not, I guess this still kind of works. Say you go in with your team, and are you guys familiar with the game show, the older game show Weakest Link?
Yes.
By
Yes.
any chance? Okay, so
You
those
Link. Goodbye.
dude, I loved Weakest Link. Underrated, I think, in the pantheon of game shows. So in that game show, you had to rely on other people, and you had to hope that they don't bank too early, because if they banked too early, you're not getting a lot of money, and the rewards kept going up. And you had to determine, oh, when are we going to cut it off to get the rewards? But if you fail a question, you lose all the money you haven't banked up to that level. That's a very rough summary of it. But why don't they have that in the trial, the whatever?
Trials of Osiris.
Not even maybe Trials of Osiris, but the Prison
House
of Elders.
Prison of Elders.
Prison of Elders. There's too many dumb terms in this game.
Glimmer.
Yeah, Glimmer. So why don't they have a system where you can go in and you clear a wave or something? It's like, here, you have 2,000 Glimmer. Do you want to continue? And then somehow, this is very hard, I would imagine hard to do, but the group somehow decides we're going to keep going. And the rewards keep going on, and it gets more difficult. And then if you lose, you lose everything. You don't get the prizes. But like if you are able to prove yourself and get really high in the difficulty, you could get rewards like, I don't know, a Galahorn or something. And then, something that
I'm
people
surprised
really
Austin's
want.
number 3 was not just, I want to
Give
go.
everyone a Galahorn. Let Zerg sell Galahorn.
But I don't know, just like ever increasing rewards and put it on the players to decide, oh, this is our limit or something like that. It adds just, I feel like, another dimension instead of just being like, oh, can we beat them? No, we lost. Let's go back into it. It's know our limits kind of thing. I just think an extra kind of little dimension. I think that would be interesting.
Absolutely.
And Sparrow Racing.
Oh, of course, Sparrow Racing. And
Sparrow Racing.
spaceship battling.
Ooh, Spaceship Battle. Galaga load screens.
There we go.
with your custom loading screen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the ships that you get. That's what I meant.
Yes.
Right.
So I think all of that talk has just kind of made me think about season passes in general. Did both of you guys pre-order the season pass?
Yeah.
I
So
bought the Ghost
season
edition.
pass. What?
I bought the Ghost edition.
Yeah. Oh, so you have the little Dinklebot?
Yeah, it's at work.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I bought the digital Ghost. So pretty much everything except the physical Dinkelberg.
Yeah. So you all spent extra money on the game ahead of time, assuming that we
Yeah.
would get 2 expansion packs, each with, strikes, multiplayer maps, and presumably a new raid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that this kind of sets a bad precedent for season passes in the future? I mean, essentially, we were led to believe that we were going to get one thing, and then they're kind of shortchanging the people who bought the season pass. How do you feel that makes season passes? I mean,
I think when I look at Destiny in the season pass, I'm a lot less unhappy with Destiny season pass than I am with, like, say, Watch Dogs season pass, where I'm like, oh, I get a new play mode. When do I get it? At some point in the future. Like, I think I checked maybe a month ago, and I had it, but I was like, there was no fanfare. I had no idea this new play mode was out. Like, what's going on? Same thing with Assassin's Creed. Like, I bought the season pass version, and there was theoretically new content, but they never told me when it was coming out. Like, it's not even an automatic download, so it's not like I log into my PS4 and all of a sudden I see this new game mode. So, like, to me, I feel like season passes are like the game version of Kickstarter, where like at first I was really excited about getting this great deal, and now as time goes on, companies have failed to deliver what I want from a season pass or for a $5 discount that I don't care. So the prime example is Evolve. I was kind of excited for the game. There was a ton of like unlockable content for it that you could get in a season pass. What did it save me? $5. So you know what I said? All right, I'll play the game for a while. If I like it, it'll be worth the extra $5. If not, I saved myself 25.
Yeah.
Right.
It's,
That's fair.
Go ahead, Austin.
I was just gonna say, aside from maybe Destiny and I think maybe BioShock Infinite, I don't think I've ever bought a season pass before I've played the game. Normally, I will play the game and then go online, see if there's a season pass, and then I buy the season pass if I like the game, and then I, like Sam said, I end up saving 5 or 10, depending on the game, dollars. Aside from BioShock Infinite, I was kind of like, oh, well, I really like the alpha and beta of Destiny. I might as well just get this. And so am I disappointed that I bought it and now I'm not maybe getting everything I thought I was going to, even up until a month ago or even less, a couple weeks ago, when I was expecting House of Wolves to come out with a raid? I can't say I'm honestly disappointed because, to me, this new Prison of Elders thing to me I'm assuming is going to have just the same amount of content or time to be able to sink into as much as a raid would. So I don't think I'm getting gypped out on actual any content, to be honest.
Okay. I guess that's a fair point in making. Lacey, do you have anything that you want to add to the conversation of season passes for games? Not necessarily Destiny, but any game that comes out where they try to bulk all future downloadable content into one and try to sell it to you at a discount.
Right. I would have to say that part of that is a trade-off. Like, I think Sam made a good point though with the you're saving what, $5, but you're saving $5. There's a lot of people who seize that opportunity to save that $5, and then they end up eventually getting this content that they maybe wouldn't have actually sprung for in the first place. So I don't have a ton of experience with season passes, but it seems like a good opportunity to maybe make a profit off of something that you would not have initially, because people like a good buy.
Yeah.
Especially on.
So do you think less people would buy into the extra downloadable content if there were no season passes?
I don't think less people would. I think more dedicated people would. I think there would be a pretty good divide. I compare it sort of to, I guess, like season passes that I can think of I think of like a Disney season pass. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who wouldn't spring for it, even though in the end all be all, you would get a lot of discounts and things, but people would rather spend more money because they know exactly what they're going to get for this time frame, and they don't plan for that far. So I don't know. I don't have enough experience with season passes in that aspect, but I personally would probably hold out and hear from other people first before I saved, like Sam said, before I saved $5 on it.
How about you, Austin? Do you think not having season passes would affect sales of this downloadable content?
So you're saying if they had no season pass, would people not? That's tough. I think overall they would probably lose out on some money. That's my guess, because there are a lot of people who will buy a season pass to a game just because of the developer. Like, I'm sure there are many people that were like, oh, Bungie, they're making a new IP. I will buy everything and anything that comes out without seeing anything. But if they don't have that option to kind of impulse buy, they probably... I mean, it's all business, so I'm assuming there's facts and figures and numbers that say, yeah, a lot of people buy preseason DLC or season pass DLC without knowing what they're getting into and end up not even using it or consuming it. And so I'm assuming it's just a part of the business where even though people are going to be pissed when it doesn't deliver, they're like, oh, we'll take that and also take our extra money kind of thing.
I mean, as someone who kind of took a break from gaming for 2 years while I was in grad school, like, before that point, I had not. I mean, the only DLC I'd ever bought before that was like song packs for Rock Band or SingStar, things like that. I never bought additional content as an add-on to a game. Then all of a sudden, I come back. The PS4's been out for a year, and basically almost every AAA title that I got within the first year, I was buying a season pass. Not really knowing why, but just thinking, okay, it's probably a good deal. That content sounds cool. Not knowing that it didn't have a time to it. Like, I didn't know when I was going to get my season or the content that I bought on the season pass. So I think, as time goes on, and maybe you guys have a different viewpoint because you've played more games that have more robust DLC, I wonder if people are just going to wise up a little bit and start taking that approach. Because I think Austin's right. Businesses have figured it out. Like, people are probably buying more than they would have otherwise. But, you got to think, like, Destiny was also an experiment in one sense of saying, like, can we create a platform that we can keep people playing over and over again for an extended period of time that's not so much an MMO, because Destiny ultimately isn't an MMO. Like, I mean, it has MMO elements, but it's not the type of drug that a World of Warcraft is. So, I think they've kind of done an interesting job. That's why, like, Destiny DLC, I haven't really cared about. Like, it seems okay. Like, I don't feel like I didn't get value out of it. But for other games, yeah, I do feel ripped off. So, I don't know.
No, that is all very valid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a good note to end the show on. Guys, it's been a ridiculous night. Remember, you can follow us all on Twitter. I am at Ben Riddick. You can find Sam at DJ Fluffkins on Twitter. You can find Austin at BubmanXIV.
14 in Roman numerals.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
I'll get back on there.
Eventually, you'll be able to find Lacey on Twitter, but right now you can't.
The anticipation.
It's a mystery.
You can follow the podcast at RidiculousRT. Be sure to visit our website, www.nkrn.org. We are planning some big stuff for Extra Life this year, and we want you to be a part of it. So
when is that this year?
November 7th.
That's a really long time from now.
Yeah, but
Never too early to plan.
Yeah. We have a goal set to $5,000 this year, and I really think that we can make it to that goal as a team. Austin's on the team.
Do that easily.
What?
I'm kidding.
Austin's on the team. Lacey's on the team. My wife's on the team. We're actually working some big stuff out, so stay tuned so you can figure out how to be a part of it. But yeah, www.nkrn.org, actually /extra life will get you to where I want you to go.
Makes it sound cool.
Oh yeah. And stay tuned for some other big stuff coming up. Guys, it's been another ridiculous night. And remember, you can't spell ridiculous without Riddick.